right side. Yes! Touchdown and a dagger! He looks, he hits, throws the right side, knocked away! He's got Cobb at the 10 to the 5 and a dagger!
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Today in Titletown Packers podcast. My name is Griffin. You can follow me on Instagram at AllDayPackers, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend Bron, who you can follow on Instagram at Lambo.Leapers. And we're coming back to you with another episode of the podcast after the Green Bay Packers have defeated the Kansas City Chiefs in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. The stars were out, so many people at the game, including myself. I was there, which was probably, I think I was the most important attendee of the night. Bron, how are you? How was watching the game on TV?
Well, Griff, we should bring up that in your career of attending Packers games, the Packers are 6-0 when you're there, so I would say you might have been the most important person there if you believe in jinxing and things of that nature.
Unbelievable.
Positive jinx.
Unbelievable, truly. I'm 6-0. Some of these people on Instagram, Bron, I think are actually ready to buy me season tickets. I don't know. Maybe that's a good idea because they keep winning when I'm there. But in terms of the football that was played on the field, well, we've got a lot to go over, Bron, because we haven't recorded in a little bit. Sadly, we're both pretty busy people. It's crazy to think that we started doing this show in 2019, all the way back then, when Matt LaFleur was his first year in Green Bay, and Rodgers was still here, obviously. And we, Bron, you and I, we were just some young kids, huh? And we had all the time in the world to record. But now things get in the way sometimes. But we're back to talk about the Packers season so far. The Packers, after the win last night, they moved to 6-6 on the season. It's truly been a pretty miraculous turnaround from this team because the last time we recorded, Bron, I think it was after week 8, after we lost to the Vikings, to move to what? 2-5 after that Vikings game? Oh my God, we traded Rasul Douglas, we were ready to sell, punt on the season. This is not the year. And now, the Packers are currently the number 7 seed in the NFC. If the playoffs started today, we would be in the playoffs.
It's been a lot of fun these past few weeks watching us get back on track and watching Jordan kind of continue to ascend and stack games and confident moments. And one of the last things we said on our latest show was that we need to see Jordan kind of get the opportunity to complete some shorter stuff early on and get him in rhythm quick. And in all these games that we've won, they've gotten off to hot starts, and that was the thing they struggled with when they were losing games at a consistent rate over the course of the first several weeks of the season. And then here we are. We're in a whole different place from a team standpoint. Just generally, this is going to change the way we look at our franchise. We were thinking about draft picks, some of us, and but now we're in a position after winning these games. We are back in that exciting. I just really thought that this was it. I mean, you don't know, but Jordan has been a lot of the reason why we're back, all excited, and everybody, all the fans are in a different mode right now. It feels like football always should feel this time of year in Green Bay, which is the most special thing about this whole thing. We not only are looking at how we can make the playoffs, but we control our own destiny with a schedule that's very favorable without a team with a winning record left. We just beat 2 really, really good teams in this league. There's so many positives for Green Bay right now. The defense is playing well. The offense is playing as good as it's played all year. So this is a playoff caliber team. They're in that spot right now, and if they keep winning, it's only going to go up from here, and it's just like how it should be in Green Bay in December and hopefully January, which is the Packers playing great football.
I can't believe it that we're sitting here 6-6 talking about the playoffs. If you would have told me that, 4 weeks ago, the last time we recorded, I wouldn't have believed you. That's just insane to think about. The biggest difference is obviously Jordan Love. I think everyone would agree with that, right? Jordan Love, the defense is playing better too, but Jordan Love, more than anything, is playing like a different quarterback. The last time we recorded, Bron, the last time we spoke to each other on air, you said it would take mind you, this is after week 8. This is when Jordan was, his numbers were league low in pretty much every category. Bron, you said it would take a pretty significant jump for Jordan to be the quarterback of the future. And what have we seen in the last 4 games? A pretty significant jump. He looks like a different player to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the accuracy, the timing, the anticipation, the decision-making are all up at a very high rate. And it's so interesting because I think it has to do with everything I thought was the issue, which was the decisiveness stems from confidence. And the confidence stems from the experience and the for him, Jordan specifically, knowing that he can do anything he wants out there, and he's been able to do it. He's making every throw that they ask him to make. When it gets off schedule, he has a throw and it's there. I mean, everything's on time and accurate, and you get a missed throw or two every game from every quarterback in the NFL, and he was just superb on Sunday night. I mean, just he hit everything. Every ball was in the right spot. Every play was to the right guy. The decisions were excellent, and that's why the Chiefs could not stop us. Even with an incredible defense, they were dealing with some injuries throughout the game and stuff, but from the beginning to the end, no matter who was in or who was out, the results were the same. This offense was humming, and it all has to do with the fact that Jordan, while he's not making left and right unbelievable throws, it's still his first year starting, and he's making great throws on time, accurate, to the right guy, and to the open man. So the receivers definitely get some credit for that because they're starting to gel together as they kind of all grow. As some of them are in year 2, some of them are rookies. They're all growing together. It's a big young group, and they're all very in a similar spot. But Jordan is making special throws a few times a game right now, but he's also doing everything well, everything efficient, and making all the easy stuff look easy, making some of the more difficult throws look easy. Everything he's doing right now is exactly what we want at this stage of his development, and at this point when we're now trying to start winning games and get into the playoffs, we're at exactly where we need to be with him and this entire offense. And it's a special thing, and I'm excited for what's ahead.
It's great, man. His turnaround has been really fun to watch. If you go back to weeks 1 and 2, remember we beat Chicago 38-21 or something like that. Scored 38 points. Jordan had 3 touchdowns, no picks. In Atlanta, Jordan had 3 touchdowns as well. We did end up losing that game by 1 point. And I bring this up because I think something happened in the fourth quarter of that Atlanta game, week 2, where he was just different from there on out. The first 7 quarters of the season before the fourth quarter in Atlanta, he looked like how he looks now, but maybe a little less polished than he is now. But he was just, hitting the right read, making accurate throws, making good decisions, not making terrible mistakes. And then something happened in that fourth quarter where from there on out, up until just a few weeks ago, he looked different. And the thing to me that jumps out is the confidence. He feels like such a more confident player right now than he was 4 or 5 weeks ago. The first game of the season, that also jumped out. In Chicago, he looked like a confident quarterback, which was surprising because that's not what I expected. And it was surprising to see him look so confident with his reads and with his throws. And then something happened in that fourth quarter in Atlanta, and we saw a bunch of mistakes. It looked like Utah State Jordan Love. It looked like the Jordan Love that many people were worried about him being, the worst version of himself. Well, right now he's playing... I don't know if this is his best. You don't want to put a cap on him this early in his first season starting, but it's got to be close to the best version of himself, the way he's playing right now, because he finished last night with a 91 PFF grade. I would have bet a lot of money at the beginning of the season that Jordan Love would not have a single game in the 90s. Like a 90 PFF grade, that means a lot. It's not like passer rating or any other these volume stats. It is a throw-by-throw grade, and the 90 grade reflects a quarterback performance with no mistakes and several big-time throws, as they call it. Several high-leverage elite throws. And Jordan finished with a 91 grade, 4 big-time throws per PFF, no turnover-worthy plays. Last week in Detroit, against maybe even a better team, he had an 87 PFF grade, and it just feels like he hasn't made a mistake in a while. It feels like he's in a zone. And we talk about this a lot, Bron, the mental side of it. It feels like he's in a zone, and he is just so confident right now. In the pocket, he looks confident. Throwing the ball, he looks confident. With his decisions, moving off his reads, he looks confident. He looks like he knows what he's doing, which is different from, maybe what we saw in the middle of the season.
He has every reason to be confident, I feel. And I think every Packers fan should feel that way because he's shown that he can operate this offense at the exact high point level that is needed for us to win football games. So when you've shown you can do that, he's starting to truly put the league on notice. His teammates are completely have full belief in everything that he brings to the table for this team.
They love him. So every player on this team.
I mean, this team loves him just as they should. Just as they should, because he's put so much work. He sat like every Green Bay quarterback seems to have to do. There's some kind of sitting that now has to go on, and where you have to learn from the guy who's done it, and it's a great way to operate if it's done well. And in this case, Jordan has put enough on film this season to show that he can be the quarterback of the present and the future for this Packers football team. So he has every reason to be confident when he's shown that he can make every throw necessary. And I think it's only going to get better and better. The more confident he gets, maybe he'll be more willing to let the ball rip on something that's a little bit tighter in coverage. And then I think he's going to be able to show that he can make those difficult throws. So forgetting every contextual aspect of what has happened over the last several years, and the Packers not getting things done with Super Bowls and other things, the way that they operated as an organization, even in making this draft pick. Forgetting all of that, I think there's no denying that Jordan Love is the guy for us until he shows otherwise, and I don't think he will. Jordan Love has shown that he is going to be a top player at the position for years to come in Green Bay. And now he can lead us and continue to do that as we embark on a journey to playoffs that potentially could be, you never know. I really do think this team is putting it together. We just beat the defending Super Bowl champions, so I'm not going to put a cap or a ceiling on what this team can do. And for that reason, when you go and beat the Lions, who beat the Super Bowl champs early in the year and are beating all these great teams and competing with high-quality teams on a weekly basis, the Packers beat them on Thanksgiving in a game that was not close. And that is encouraging. And then you go and beat the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs with the quarterback that everybody seems to believe is the best in the league. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Jordan Love showed that he can compete at that high level, and Patrick Mahomes did not look like a top quarterback in the NFL against this Packers defense. So okay. I'm just so thrilled to see.
We're not doing
result.
Quarterback head-to-head.
I don't
stats,
like Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like him.
I know you don't, but we can't do
He gives you one. He always gives you one, and he gave us one. He always gives you one, Griff. He's going to throw you a pick because he's a bad decision maker.
Yeah, you're not a big Mahomes guy.
He's a sloppy decision maker and inaccurate when he gets lazy.
Talking about Patrick Mahomes right now. Sloppy decision maker.
No, but you know who's not? Jordan, because he's on time, he's efficient, he doesn't do things like throw the ball underhanded at the goal line, and he's going to give you a chance to win, and he gave us everything we needed to get the job done. So just thrilled with the outcome, thrilled with how he's playing, and we're going to keep it going. We got another one coming up, right? Every week there's another new game, new opponent, and this is just a stepping stone. The New York Giants, not a special football team. We got to take care of business, get above that 500 level to have a winning record, and try to get as far as the 6th seed. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's keep it rolling.
What do you think was Jordan's best throw of the day?
There was a lot of good ones. The one to Christian in the end zone was incredible.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Well, I should say the second touchdown to Christian, where Christian kind of high pointed it in the back of the end zone. He was really in it. It was basically covered, and Jordan I could read his mind as he was about to make that throw. I knew that was going to be a tough ball. But I was so happy when he made the decision to throw it, because it looked like Christian was covered for a lot of that route, and it was perfectly thrown. Christian made the perfect high point catch. That was such a great throw. I mean, he had a lot of beautiful, beautiful plays, but that was one that definitely stood out to me as a tight window, not easy to make, just an incredible throw.
That throw was amazing. The Lambeau went crazy after that. I couldn't believe that. I mean, it just felt like, you know how people talk about Brett Favre's performance on Monday night after his dad died, where it's like he just couldn't throw an incompletion? That's how it felt watching Jordan Love. Do you remember the 4th and 1? He just chucks it up to Romeo in triple coverage. It's the weirdest play I've ever seen. I don't know how to grade this play from a quarterback standpoint, because, it's like, it looks like just a Hail Mary. He's getting hit, he just lobs it up. into triple coverage and it's caught. And you're thinking like, okay, maybe don't do that. But at the same time, it's in triple coverage between three guys. Romeo is between three guys downfield, and none of the defenders had a chance to catch that ball. It was right into
amazing.
Romeo's hands. Drop in the bucket.
I couldn't decide what was better between the throw and the catch. I mean, that was just... Romeo has a special ability to make contested catches or catches that are difficult, similar to what Devontae was able to do for us, just make catches that seemed impossible. And Romeo does it in a different way than Devontae, but still just improbable plays you think that would never be caught or that would never happen. Romeo always seems to end up with those. And that's what makes him so great and separates him from other guys. Like, I just think he's incredible. And Jordan, I mean, off his back foot, he's getting pressure in his face. It's 4th and 1. I guess I didn't look at the film on this, but there was clearly it was take a shot on 4th and 1 was the idea.
Right.
But it seemed as if the Chiefs were ready for it, though. I mean, they had I think it was only 4 guys, maybe 5 they were rushing, because the linebackers dropped off and the safeties and corners were all pretty deep.
Yeah, and John Runyon got whooped right away, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, so that was what the crazy part was. It's not like he had time to let anything develop, so he really had to float it, and it just fell right into his lap. He had to go. Romeo had to go down.
I said his hands.
It was literally he had to fall on the ground to get it. It was incredible. So I think, I mean, I'm not going to discredit him for making that decision when it was literally perfect, and when he threw it, it was probably more open. But he put it in the perfect spot, like as if he dropped it right on a single blade of grass.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where he wanted it. So couldn't be happier with it.
You've got 3 guys circled around Romeo on the all-22. I showed you this earlier, Bron. There's like 3 guys in a diamond pattern around Romeo, and it's literally a perfect drop in the bucket. Crazy stuff we're seeing from Jordan right now. The turnarounds over the past 4 weeks have just been, I mean... Like, some of it doesn't make sense. Like, with these receivers, how did they all of a sudden just figure it out, Like, Romeo is all of a sudden a very solid wide receiver, too. Christian Watson has 2 touchdowns against the Chiefs. He's getting involved more than he was early on. Dontavian Wicks...
2 touchdowns against the Lions, too. I mean, that's
right.
4 in 2 weeks.
That's
incredible.
Back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns for Christian. That is 2022 Christian Watson, which we were asking for the return of earlier on this season. And then you've got Dontavian Wicks.
And we remember when he turned it on last year. He turned it on in a big way. He had, 8 touchdowns or something like that in the span of 4 games or something crazy.
It was something like that.
So, I mean, he's turning it on just like he did last year when it matters most. Down the stretch when we need to start winning games, he's helping us in a big way.
Yeah, what do you think it is, man? I don't know what it is. Is it the offense just functioning at a higher level? There has been fewer penalties, fewer self-inflicted errors.
Incredible that we were able to avoid those yesterday when the Chiefs were doing it all game to themselves, it seemed.
Right.
Just making mistakes. We pretty much avoided those things that would set us back. Earlier in the season, we would start a drive and get a holding penalty, and all of a sudden it's 1st and 20.
Exactly. That's why everything looks so
those
bad.
Those things weren't happening.
Like week 7, week 8, that's why everything looks so bad. It's because every drive is starting on 1st and 15, and then Jordan gets sacked, and it's 3rd and 23. And they have no choice. You can't even call real plays at that point, which Matt was talking about. But week 1, week 2, some of week 3, when the offense has looked their best this season, it just looks so easy, and it makes you think, why can't it be like this all the time? But maybe they really have flipped the switch. I mean, these back-to-back performances they've had, if you want to go back 3 weeks, the Chargers game was not as clean. They got a little lucky in that game to come out of that with a W. I was there, so. And at this point, with the way the offense is playing, the way the defense has been playing for a while now, I feel like this team is going to be hard to beat, Like, the Chiefs can't beat us. The Lions can't beat us. The Lions game wasn't close. We're going to be a problem in the playoffs.
I think another big factor for what we've been able to do is I think A.J. Dillon, he averaged 4.1 yards per carry on Sunday night, but he is playing much better football. And including on Sunday night, I feel like he played very, very well because guys are getting to him early, but he's actually doing what we drafted him to do and what he did in 2021. He is getting out of tackles. He's forcing his way to gain yardage when it matters most. He's making, stops at the line of scrimmage. He's turning into 3 yards. Stops, 1 or 2 yards. He's getting 5, 6. I was very pleased with how he played. I think he's going to continue to be impactful for us. And if there's a chance that we can get Aaron Jones back at some point, I hope Christian can stay healthy. I know he just tweaked his hamstring. There's a lot of positives that we've got going on with this team, and I think the running game has been better. The offensive line has played really well in most cases. There are some weak spots and weak moments, but Elton Jenkins has played phenomenally since he's kind of gotten back healthy, and Zach Tom is continuing to play like a really good tackle for us. They're getting pretty okay play from the left side, and the guard play has been all right. Josh Myers, Griff, you mentioned a little bit how he's playing a little bit better. So the line itself is keeping Jordan up. They're helping in the running game kind of start getting things going, even without Aaron Jones there and once he gets back. So I'm excited for what we're doing. Just everything seems to be cohesive and it's complementary. Within the offense itself, it's complementary, and then what we're doing on other aspects on defense and special teams, it's kind of just all circling into something that we can feel like we can win with, that kind of formula. So just got to keep it up. And I'm excited. Like I said, it's hard to not be excited with what we've got going on. The way Jordan's playing, this is all new. It's a new team, and it's happening a lot quicker than everybody thought. I'm not sure many people really truly thought we would contend for playoffs and other things, but we're doing it, and we've got a chance to keep it rolling and do something special in Jordan Love's first year as a starter.
The run game, I don't think, is ever going to look like the Niners run game just because of the O-line as it is right now. There's so much youth. We've got replacement level players at left tackle, 2 of them. We've got a replacement level right guard. Josh Myers probably a tick above replacement level. It's going to be hard to really run the ball well, but they've been running it better than they did early on in the season because at least they're now staying on schedule. A 4-yard run on 2nd and 10 or 1st and 10. I don't love the play call, but it's better than 3rd and 9. 3rd and 6 is okay every now and then. And Jordan Love has been playing well on 3rd down. And the offense is just, it feels like a Rodgers offense. And I know I'm sick of this more than anyone, I think. The Rodgers and Love comparisons from a play style standpoint. But in terms of the Matt LaFleur offenses that we've seen them both lead, when they're at their best, they do look similar. Things just look easy. And Rodgers made it look super easy. And right now, Jordan Love is making everything look super easy. Bron, we got to talk about the defense because Joe Barry is doing a surprisingly okay job. I don't know if you want to credit Joe Barry or you want to credit the personnel, but against the Chiefs, they played just fine. And what do I always say? I don't know if you even listen to me, Bron, but I always say I do not trust Joe Barry against a good quarterback or a good offensive play caller. And we were playing Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, some would say the best of both of those categories in the NFL, and we played just fine. So how about that? The defense playing much better.
I think in years past, if we had Corey Ballantyne and Carrington Valentine on the field, the 7th-round pick and undrafted whatever, young guys, I think, and we weren't playing well, I think we'd be pointing to the fact that we need another cornerback, and we just traded Rasul Douglas, and we'd be pointing to the front office. But for some reason, they've been playing well enough to win games.
They have.
And is that something you attribute to the guys? Because is Corey Ballantyne that okay or that good enough? I don't know. We don't have Jair Alexander. We don't have Rasul Douglas. Keyshawn Nixon is still out there, which is great. He made the biggest play of the game on defense, getting that pick off of Patrick McGive on every game. And,
oh my God. Did you make that up?
I just threw that one out there. But it's true, and he did get the one that he gives you every game, so... I think Keyshawn is a phenomenal player. I think he is just I put him in the same category as Rasul.
At that position.
He is. Keyshawn is a big hitter. He is a pretty secure tackler in most cases, and he can cover anybody in the slot. So he's a versatile guy too. Obviously, he kick returns for us, and he does that at one of the highest levels in the game. He is a phenomenal player. I was about to say, I put him in the same category as Rasul, of a guy that you want on your team when you're trying to win games, win a championship. Having Keyshawn out there, we can win. Having Devondre Campbell healthy, we can win. These guys are very, very meaningful and impactful with their experience, what they do for us as leaders, and just their play on the field being a tick above everybody else. It's a real thing. The veteran experience matters, and those guys all those guys, not just Keyshawn and Devondre, but look around that whole group because they've got tons of young guys. The veterans that are out there, Jonathan Owens. I mean, you look at the few veterans that we've got that aren't like Kenny Clark or Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith guys, but the guys like that are contributing and their experience is showing out there and they're helping the young guys, and it's a perfect blend of youth and veteran experience on the defense. So that group I'm very happy with. And Joe Barry deserves at least some credit because when you're not losing games and you're not giving up yardage to some of the best offenses in football, you have to say something about that. I mean, that is very good. So he's doing his job, and whatever that looks like, they're getting it done. And his players are doing it the right way. He's clearly calling the games well enough to win. So, defense not an issue.
There are good players out there, and we've known that all season, and they're playing better. I mean, I think that's part of it too. These guys are just playing better. Kenny Clark was MIA for a large chunk of the season, during the losing streak. Last night he had 6 pressures, which led the team. That's vintage, prime, elite Kenny Clark. He's back to playing at that level, it seems. Devontae Wyatt next to him. TJ Slayton, one of my favorite guys on this team. No one's denying the fact that the Packers have a great front seven. They've got great personnel all over the defense, but throughout the season, at the defense's low points, it makes you question what's going on with the coaching. Well, it really hasn't been a problem lately, and that's the good thing. The defense, not a problem. It looks like, and with the turnover, they're helping us win games. So, love to see it. This team is in a great position. I feel like 6-6, have a chance to get over 500 against the Giants next Monday night. This is a special year, man. This is a really special year. It was a special game last night. I'm glad I was there.
It's tough. I mean, the ups and downs of a season with a lot of moving parts. We saw that in 2022. It's the same idea. Moving parts, uncertainties, injuries, all those things are really difficult on a season and put a lot of pressure on winning games when you're in the midst of all that. This year it's been the same. A lot of off-season turnover, a lot of locker room guys gone. Just things that they make it difficult to win, especially early on. And now we've kind of hit our stride. The guys that are there, and they're here to lead us, and there's no question about that moving forward. Losing Rasul, a big deal, obviously, but they're going to be okay, it seems. And they just have to keep finding a way, especially against these teams that are very good. It's hard to really, we're going back, looking at it earlier in the year, if seeing the teams that we were losing to. If you would have told me they would have beat the 8-2 Lions and the 8-3 Chiefs, I mean, it's just we're in a great spot right now. The momentum is riding high, and nothing like when it gets cold in Lambeau. We're built for this. I mean, we're supposed to be built for this, and I think that we showed we can do it. And I loved our momentum, so we just got to keep it rolling. That's really all there is to say. The more we win, the more we'll be able to talk about it. But right now, it's just about getting it done. Then we'll get closer, and we start to lock in maybe that we're going to get in the playoffs, and it's going to be exciting. I mean, this is imagine that, Griff. After everything we've been through, being able to say that we're going to be back in the playoffs is going to be pretty cool. So let's just keep it rolling. I love it. I'm so excited.
Pretty unbelievable what's happened so far this season. Just 3 weeks ago, the Packers had a 9% chance of making the playoffs. Now we're sitting around 70, low 70% chance. I hate playoff percentages, but I brought it up anyways. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to send in your take, you can do so by calling us at 920-412-7997. That is 920-412-7997. If you'd rather email us, you can do so by emailing at todayintitletown@gmail.com. And maybe we can feature your take on the next show. No emails or voicemails today because we've been, missing for about a month. But we're back. We're going to be back next week.
Not really a therapy episode, right, Griff? I mean, this is a big win. So
no, yeah, but I like to get them in here anyways. If I had voicemails, I would play it, even if it's not a therapy episode.
This is, we don't, not much therapy to go on, so. I mean, this is a celebration. It's a celebration. If you want to give us your celebration email, celebration voicemail, celebration email, sure.
Yeah, send those in.
But we're not giving you therapy after a win. We're not doing it.
Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, but send in your takes, questions for us. Make them related to anything. I don't care. Send them in, call us, email us, whatever you please. We'll be back next week after the Packers take on the New York Giants on Monday Night Football. Oh, scary stuff. Scary, scary stuff, these New York Giants. I actually am a little bit worried. I smell trap game.
Oh, that's my least favorite.
I
You
know.
know I hate that.
That's why I
Yeah.
said that.
Just trying to make me mad at the end of this show.
All right. Well, we'll be back. Thanks so much for listening. And now more than ever, go Pack Go.
We will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. As always, go Pack Go.